The rain hammered against our kitchen window like an angry debt collector as Vanessa burst through the front door, her designer heels clicking against our marble floor with military precision. She was waving a manila envelope like it contained the cure for cancer, her perfectly applied lipstick stretched into a smile that made my blood run cold. "Ethan, darling," she purred, dropping her Louis Vuitton bag on our granite countertop with theatrical flair. "I have the most wonderful news." I looked up from my laptop where I'd been reviewing quarterly reports for my investment firm. After 12 years of marriage, I knew that tone. It was the same voice she used when explaining why she'd spent $3,000 on a purse, or why we absolutely needed to attend another charity gala where she could network with the city's legal elite. "Let me guess," I said, not bothering to hide the sarcasm that had become my default setting around her. "You've been promoted to senior associate, and now you want to celebrate at that overpriced steakhouse downtown." Her laugh was like breaking glass. "Oh, Ethan, you always underestimate me." She slid the envelope across the counter. "I got the job at Morrison, Keller Associates, the biggest law firm in the city." I had to admit I was impressed despite myself. Morrison, Keller was the kind of place that chewed up ambitious lawyers and spat out the bones. "Congratulations, I'm sure you'll do great." "That's not the best part." Her eyes gleamed with something that looked suspiciously like malice. "My first assignment? Our divorce?" The words hit me like a physical blow. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline that never came. "What?" "I filed the papers this morning. It's all very civilized, really. No-fault divorce, clean split." She opened the envelope and spread the documents across the counter like she was dealing cards. "All you have to do is sign." My mind raced through the implications. Vanessa had been distant for months, working late, taking mysterious phone calls, coming home smelling like expensive cologne that wasn't mine. I'd suspected something was wrong, but I'd chalked it up to work stress. "Just like that?" I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. 12 years of marriage and you're ending it with paperwork?" She shrugged, already pulling out her phone to text someone. "We've grown apart, Ethan. You know it as well as I do. You're content with your little investment firm and your quiet life. I want more." "More what?" "More everything. More money, more power, more respect." She looked at me with barely concealed contempt. "I'm tired of being married to someone who's satisfied with mediocrity." That stung, mainly because it revealed how little she understood about what I'd built. My little investment firm managed over $200 million in assets, including a $20 million stake in the holding company that owned Morrison, Keller Associates. But Vanessa had never bothered to learn the details of my business. I picked up the pen and signed the papers without reading them. Her eyebrows shot up in surprise. "That's it?" she asked. "No fight? No begging? Would it change anything?" "No," she admitted, "but I expected more drama." "Sorry to disappoint you." I slid the papers back across the counter. "I assume you'll be staying somewhere else tonight." "Already packed." She gestured toward the hallway, where I now noticed 2 suitcases waiting by the door. "I'm meeting some colleagues for drinks to celebrate. Don't wait up." After she left, I sat in my kitchen for exactly 10 minutes, processing what had just happened. Then I called my CFO, Tom Bradley. "Tom, I need you to liquidate our position in Morrison Holdings, all of it, tonight." "That's $20 million, Ethan. Are you sure?" "Completely sure. And Tom, don't ask why." The next call was to my head of public relations, Lisa Chen. "Lisa, I need you to start monitoring the legal gossip blogs, specifically anything about Morrison, Keller, and Associates." "What am I looking for?" "You'll know it when you see it." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The next morning, I was in my office reviewing the overnight trades when Tom burst through my door, his usually calm demeanor replaced by barely contained excitement. "Ethan, you need to see this." He dropped a tablet on my desk showing the local business news. "Morrison, Keller is in full crisis mode. Someone pulled a massive investment overnight and triggered a liquidity panic." I pretended to study the article with mild interest. "How unfortunate." "There's more. I'm getting calls from 3 other investors who want to pull their money too. They're spooked." "Market confidence is a fragile thing," I observed, pouring myself another cup of coffee. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Vanessa's new number. Something terrible has happened at the firm. We need to talk." I deleted the message without responding. Around noon, Lisa called with an update. "I've got some interesting information about your wife's new workplace. Apparently, there are rumors about a senior partner having an inappropriate relationship with a junior lawyer." "How scandalous. Any names?" "Not yet, but my source says it involves someone who just started this week." I leaned back in my chair, watching the rain streak down my office windows. The city looked gray and unforgiving, perfect weather for what was coming next. That evening, I drove to the parking garage beneath Morrison, Keller's downtown office tower. Security was lighter than I expected, probably due to budget cuts from their sudden financial crisis. I found what I was looking for on the executive level: a silver Tesla with vanity plates reading Lawman 1. Damian Holt. Senior partner, divorce specialist, and according to my private investigator's report, Vanessa's new mentor, the same man whose cologne I'd been smelling on my wife for the past 3 months. I attached a small GPS tracker under his rear bumper, completely legal to track someone in public spaces, and left a handwritten note under his windshield wiper: "Karma has excellent timing. A friend." The next morning brought a cascade of developments. Tom reported that 2 more investors had pulled their money from Morrison Holdings, creating a genuine financial crisis. Lisa forwarded me several anonymous tips that had been sent to the city's legal gossip blog, all describing a torrid affair between a silver-haired senior partner and his ambitious young protege. My phone rang constantly with calls from Vanessa's new number. I let them all go to voicemail. The first message was professional. "Ethan, please call me back. We need to discuss some complications with the divorce proceedings." The second was concerned. "The firm is having some financial difficulties. I may need to delay moving out of the house." The third was desperate. "Ethan, please. Something is very wrong here. I think someone is targeting me." By the fourth message, her composure had cracked completely. "You bastard! I know this is you somehow. Call me back." I saved them all. The confrontation I'd been expecting finally came on Friday evening. I was working late in my office when Vanessa appeared in my doorway, her usually perfect appearance disheveled. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and her hands shook as she clutched her phone. "What did you do?" she demanded. I looked up from my computer with practiced innocence. "I'm sorry?" "Don't play dumb with me, Ethan. The firm is collapsing. There are rumors flying about me and Damian. Someone is destroying my career." "Damian?" I raised an eyebrow. "Is that your new boyfriend's name? I was wondering." Her face flushed red. "It's not what you think." "Really? Because what I think is that you've been sleeping with your boss while planning to divorce me and take half my assets. Am I wrong?" She opened her mouth to deny it, then seemed to realize there was no point. "How long have you known?" "About the affair?" 3 months. "About you using me for financial security while you planned your escape? Probably longer." "So you decided to destroy my life?" I stood up and walked around my desk to face her. "I didn't destroy anything, Vanessa. I simply stopped propping up your new employer. Turns out your dream job was being funded by your husband's money. Ironic, don't you think? You pulled your investment from Morrison Holdings. I pulled my investment from a company I no longer wish to support. Perfectly legal and entirely my right. But you knew it would hurt the firm." "I knew it would hurt you. There's a difference." She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. I never thought you had it in you. That was your first mistake. Her phone buzzed with yet another call. She glanced at it, and her face went pale. It's the managing partner. Again. You should probably take that. I imagine they have questions about your relationship with Mr. Holt. How do you know about... She stopped herself. You've been having me followed. I've been protecting my interests. Amazing what you can learn when you actually pay attention. The phone stopped ringing, then immediately started again. Vanessa looked like she might cry. What do you want from me? She whispered. Nothing. I wanted a wife who respected me and a marriage built on honesty. Since I can't have those things, I'll settle for watching you learn that actions have consequences. She turned to leave, then spun back around. You know what the funny thing is? I actually thought you were too weak to fight back. I thought I could walk all over you and you'd just take it. Another mistake. Damien said you were a pushover. He said men like you always fold when confronted by someone with real power. How's that working out for him? Her phone buzzed with a text message. She read it, and her face went white. They're suspending me pending an investigation, ethics violations. I'm sorry to hear that. No, you're not. You're right, I'm not. After she left, I poured myself a scotch and called Lisa. The story breaks tomorrow, she reported. 3 different sources have confirmed the affair. The Bar Association is launching an ethics investigation, and there's more. I'm listening. Holt's wife filed for divorce this afternoon. Apparently, someone sent her copies of some very incriminating text messages. How unfortunate for Mr. Holt. There's something else. My contact at the gossip blog says they received an anonymous package containing photos of Holt and your wife together. Nothing explicit but clearly intimate. They're running them with the story. I smiled for the first time in days. Public humiliation. How fitting. The weekend brought a delicious avalanche of consequences. The legal gossip blog's expose went viral, complete with photos of Vanessa and Damien holding hands at an upscale restaurant, kissing in his Tesla, and entering his apartment building together. The story painted them as reckless lovers, whose affair had contributed to their firm's financial crisis. It mentioned that the mystery junior associate had filed for divorce from her investment manager husband on the same day she started work, suggesting the affair had been planned for months. By Monday morning, both Vanessa and Damien had been terminated from Morrison, Keller Associates. The firm issued a statement citing conduct detrimental to the organization's reputation and financial stability. My phone finally stopped ringing with calls from Vanessa's number. Instead, I received a visit from Damien himself. He appeared in my office lobby Tuesday afternoon, looking nothing like the confident power broker I'd researched. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his silver hair unkempt, and his eyes held the desperate look of a man watching his world collapse. Mr. Grant, I'm Damien Holt. I think we need to talk. I kept him waiting in the lobby for 20 minutes before agreeing to see him. When he finally entered my office, he moved like a man walking to his execution. I want you to know that I never meant for things to go this far, he began. Which things? Sleeping with my wife or helping her plan to take half my assets in the divorce? He flinched. Vanessa told you about that? Vanessa didn't need to tell me anything. I've been watching both of you for months. Look, I know you're angry. Angry? I laughed. Mr. Holt, anger is what I felt when I first suspected my wife was cheating. What I feel now is satisfaction. You've destroyed both our careers. I've exposed your choices. There's a difference. He leaned forward in his chair, trying to project authority he no longer possessed. I could make things very difficult for you. I still have connections in this city. Really? Because from what I hear, your connections are distancing themselves pretty quickly. Something about not wanting to be associated with a scandal. His facade cracked. What do you want? Money? I can pay you to back off. With what? Your wife froze your accounts yesterday. Your firm terminated you without severance. Your reputation is in ruins. I stood up and walked to the window. Tell me, Mr. Holt, what exactly do you have that I could possibly want? I could convince Vanessa to drop the divorce proceedings. I turned back to face him. Why would I want that? I'm finally free of her. The realization dawned on his face. This wasn't about winning Vanessa back. This was about punishment. You're enjoying this, he said, immensely. He left without another word. That evening, Vanessa called me from a number I didn't recognize. Ethan, please, we need to talk. I thought we covered everything last week. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. Can we meet somewhere private? Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a small cafe near our old neighborhood. She looked awful. Her usually perfect hair was limp. Her designer clothes had been replaced with jeans and a sweater, and she'd clearly been crying. I lost everything, she said without preamble. My job, my reputation, my future. Damien won't even take my calls. I'm sorry to hear that. No, you're not. You planned this whole thing. I responded to your choices, Vanessa. There's a difference. I want to call off the divorce. We can work this out. I stared at her across the small table. Work what out? The fact that you cheated on me? The fact that you planned to leave me the moment you thought you'd found something better? The fact that you never respected me or what I built? I was confused. Damien made me think. Damien didn't make you do anything. You made your choice. So that's it? 12 years of marriage and you're just going to throw it away? I'm not throwing anything away. You already did that when you handed me those divorce papers. She reached across the table and grabbed my hand. I love you, Ethan. I know I made mistakes, but I love you. I gently pulled my hand away. No, you don't. You love the security I represented. You love the lifestyle I provided, but you never loved me. That's not true. Vanessa, you called me mediocre. You said you wanted more than I could give you. You planned to take half my assets and start a new life with another man. Those aren't the actions of someone in love. She started crying then, real tears that smeared her makeup and made her look younger and more vulnerable than I'd seen her in years. What am I supposed to do now? She whispered. You're a smart woman and a good lawyer. You'll figure it out. No firm in the city will hire me after this scandal. Then maybe it's time to leave the city. I left her sitting in that cafe, crying into her coffee cup, and drove home to our empty house. The next morning, I called my lawyer and told him to expedite the divorce proceedings. 3 months after the decree arrived, Vanessa was gone. Another state, another life, reduced to handling personal injury cases. Damien Holt had fallen even harder. His wife took nearly everything, his license suspended, his reputation wrecked. I still keep the GPS tracker I'd hidden on his car, a small, silent reminder. When I ran into Sophie at a gala, she tried to sound sympathetic. Don't you feel bad for her? She asked. I told her the truth. No. Vanessa had gambled on my weakness and lost. Kindness isn't the same as stupidity. I don't regret any of it. They earned every consequence. Some nights I think of the woman I married, wondering if she ever existed. But each morning I wake lighter, free of lies, free of love built on contempt. They sent me my own destruction. I sent back theirs.